Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Players Own YouTube channel. And overnight, it finally happened. Ipswich have made their way back to the Premier League for the first time in 22 years on the back of back-to-back promotions from League One to the Championship and now automatically up into the Premier League. What a remarkable effort in many regards. I'm going to take you through the whole season, key players, manager movements, what they went about doing, how they did their transfer business, and how Ipswich have worked their way from nowhere in League One in December in 2021 all the way to the Premier League at the start of the 24-25 season. What a story. Another one of these good field stories this season in the world of football. We've got so many, Girona, Leverkusen, now we can add the Tractor Boys, that one as well with Ipswich Town here, alongside maybe some excitement in the Premier League with Arsenal winning a Premier League title against big old Manchester City as well. So many great stories to be had this year, and this one just adds to it once again. Obviously secured it last night in the final day of the season with a 2-0 win over Huddersfield Town, who were fighting to try and stay up on the final day of the season there. And all that Ipswich had to do was get a point, but they went out there and dominated the game. Just got over the stats now, but 24 shots and 65% possession. Basically showed how they dominated from start to finish, a clinical display. And the end of the season off here with 28 wins, 12 draws, 6 losses, with the most goals in the division, least losses, and only 1 point behind eventual champions Leicester, with Ipswich sitting on 96 points for the season. So absolutely ridiculous season for them. And considering the ups and downs that many sides had, including Leicester, Leeds, Southampton, all the teams with massive budgets, Ipswich were a side that would continue to be solid, maintained, not too much emotion throughout the whole season. I think they mentioned the Sky Sports coverage at the end of the game there that Kieren McKenna is very good at managing his emotions, not getting too involved and towing the line a little bit. I think that man just had experience, despite not being the most successful time there. He learned a lot from that time. I think he's come out in many press conferences and said it, that he learnt that attacking style of football he plays and this trust and belief in his players from the work he's done at Manchester United at the under-19s level, and also with the first team there with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and also under Ralph Rangnick during his time at Old Trafford. The key stats, though, in terms of what stood out to me in a post I just saw earlier, was in the 2 seasons that he's been there, they've spent a total of £4.7 million. They've only lost 10 league games across that time. Obviously the 6 being the least in the championship this season, and they've scored 191 goals and picked up 191 points along that way, showing what Kieren McKenna and the Ipswich Town group's been all about. It's been about putting faith in your players, not spending much, getting some smart transfers in through the loans, and then also playing this incredible attacking style of football, which I feel like I'm saying in all these analytical videos and reaction videos, that all the successful teams this season, Girona, Leverkusen, Inter, now Ipswich, Leicester, Man City, Arsenal, the names can go on. I touched on Bournemouth last week. They all play this modern, progressive style of football, this fearless style of football where you go and take it to teams. You don't be fearful. You press hard up the pitch, you win the ball back, and you dominate games through having the ball and scoring goals. And that's the way we go and win about football these days. And I think the pragmatic style has a place in football, but to get back-to-back promotions and to get into the Premier League the way that Kieren McKenna's done it, the way Girona's broken up into second spot in La Liga, the way Leverkusen have been undefeated this season across all competitions, the way Bournemouth have made this great turnaround to be a mid-table side, it's all on the back of their managers, one, being great managers, but also having the faith and having the tactical prowess to implement this counter-pressing, high possession, really aggressive front-footer style of football that catches teams off guard. It's the way forward, I believe, and I think many teams start to catch on now that this is the way you have to play your football if you want to be successful across any league in the world, including the toughest in the championship there. Dive into the game quickly last night. Burns scored the first goal for Ipswich after missing an early chance minutes early in the 27th minute. Huddersfield once again, leading on to my later point, were caught in possession, high up the pitch, great pressing from Ipswich. The through ball was fed through to Burns, and after missing the first chance minutes earlier, he wouldn't miss the second chance to put the Tractor Boys 1-0 up in the 27th minute. Sam Moores took a long shot, which was saved quite well by keeper Maxwell, and they continued to put the pressure on Huddersfield in the first half. They struggled to get out of their own half. The game was basically killed off, and any hopes was killed off for Leeds after Amari Hutchinson secured a second goal. Great run, low-driven shot in the 48th minute to secure a 2-0 lead and an unbeatable lead at that. A few chances in the second half for Huddersfield, but not much meaningful opportunity to get past that resilient Ipswich back line there and secure a 2-0 win. As I said, 24 shots, 65% possession, just showing the side's dominance in this game, and just sort of a symbol of their season, the dominance they've had and the consistency they've had throughout the year, with and without the ball, scoring goals, keeping goals out the back of the net. They've been such a consistent unit and a well-drilled unit this season, and that's why they absolutely deserve to go up into the Premier League next season. Now let's just dive into Kieren McKenna himself and the leader of this unit. It's a remarkable turnaround because, as I said, Ipswich at the time of McKenna joining the club in late 2021 had just been knocked out by Barrow in the FA Cup. He was previously working with the United under-19s throughout 18 and 19, part of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's coaching unit in 20 and 21, and also Rangnick's period there as well. But, you know, a key figure is one of Solskjaer's right-hand mans, learned a little bit under Rangnick for about a month there, but then took on a big job at Ipswich. And I think there's tweets that come back up, but I think I genuinely remember seeing them, that when he first joined Ipswich, there were people saying he'll be sacked in a month or gone by before the end of the season. And I guess fair enough in a way. You know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his manager group was, you know, sort of characterised by a bunch of mates and a bunch of, you know, close friends. But we've seen Michael Carrick's gone to do great things in Middlesbrough, and Kieren McKenna now doing fabulous things with Ipswich. So obviously there's a lot of learning done there, and it just wasn't quite the situation for those coaches and that manager to work at Manchester United. But he obviously took a lot, and he's come out of press conferences and said that the attacking style of football that he instills in his Ipswich side probably becomes because he's been used to training and coaching such incredible talents like Paul Pogba, thinking about the under-19s group with Angel Gomez, James Garner, obviously the senior team alongside Paul Pogba. You have the likes of Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, Jesse Lingard at times as well. Like, so these really key talents, you know, that are being big figures across English football. Harry Maguire, David De Gea in the group. So you've been a part of these big players that have played this attacking style of football, that it's almost second nature for him to bring this attacking style of football across to Ipswich. I'm not saying that he expects the likes of Paul Pogba's and Bruno Fernandes's and Nemanja Matic's just to appear at Ipswich, but you can see the sort of roles and mould he sort of picked up from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's style of football and the modern style of football we see with Michel and Xabi Alonso around the worlds of football. You know, it's a similar system but tweaked once again. A lot of teams play this style of football, but they all have their own little swing on things. And obviously this turnaround just goes to show you that the belief you have in your players and the confidence to play this style of football, success can be had. And I think obviously you need managers to get given time, but the way that he just hit the ground running, McKenna, and has been so successful just goes down to show how quickly he turned his team around from that sort of mid-table to bottom half League One side to go and now come second in the Championship by 1 point and be going to the Premier League says it all. As I said, he's instilled confidence in his side. He's instilled that attacking style of football on a low budget. They're the second highest scoring team in the top 4 English tiers, the professional tiers there. Premier League, Championship, League One, League Two. They are second across all those divisions there. They're top in the Championship with 92 goals scored this season, scoring 2 goals per game. So just goes to show how aggressive and front-footed the style of football they play is. Another key trait which I love about this side, and especially following through the back half of the season here in the Championship, is their ability to not give up and to score late goals. I'm pretty sure they have gained the most points from bench goals in the world of football in terms of substitutes coming on the pitch and scoring goals to win points for their side. They average 20% of their goals coming between the 81st and 90th minute. In comparison, 14% during the 41st to 50th minute is their next best. So a lot of goals come late. A lot of continual pressure eventually comes through for late goals, and hopefully they'll be able to translate to the Premier League. That's a key feature you need to have as a side in the Premier League. And then in terms of his setup with and without the ball, he's sort of a 3-4-2-1 style with it, going for a 4-2-3-1 without the ball. So a real fluid system. The key contributor to that is Leif Davis, who pushes high up the pitch. But it's a fluid system where McKenna likes to have that double pivot, whether it be Massimo Luongo, Morsey in there, in terms of those 2 sitting in front of the 3 defenders. They're really important in terms of how they shift left to right across the pitch. And you can see that sort of mould where how Paul Pogba and Matic used to operate under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's similar here with Luongo and Morsey here for Ipswich. Really important that one of them can drive on, one of them can sit, but they cover that back line and protect them as one of the fullbacks pushes on. It's a very fluid, I guess you can say, front line as well. Connor Chaplin, who's the most progressive midfielder, probably the most attacking midfielder, will often come across to either side where the ball is to overload that area of the pitch. Just allows those little tiny areas to work into intricate spaces, and then the far side being able to tuck into a more number 10 type position, which allows a lot of space on the far side of the pitch. So often see they'll switch the ball and swing the ball with a lot of pace to try and get that far side open and allow that wing back to push on and get high up the pitch. But as I said, predominantly it is Leif Davis who gets high up the pitch. I'll talk about his stats in a minute, but a ridiculous season for the left back there. And as I said, the attacking manoeuvre is that left-hand side where Amari Hutchinson, when they get in the final third, will tuck in as a second striker, allow space for Leif Davis to push on almost as a left winger. You'll see Connor Chaplin sort of come as a left attacking midfielder, and that overload in that wide area there is so hard to break down. And once they get Leif Davis attacking that bar line there and whipping the ball back into the area, it's good night for many teams because his delivery has been so good. His attacking output this season has been ridiculous. So it's basically, to simplify it, a 4-2-3-1 without the ball with the two holders, Luongo, Morsi, sitting in front of a back four there to protect it. They'll press high up the pitch and try and press in wide areas. So you often see midfielders, the two holders and that double pivot swing across to overload that side of the pitch and press from there. And that front four or three at times will all try and press the ball, hound the ball in that area. And as we saw on the game on the weekend, win the ball up the pitch and convert that in chances and goals at the end of the pitch there as well. One of the most successful pressers in the competition. I think they're in the sort of top 5 for pressing stats in the championship. And a large emphasis, as I said there, for the double pivot to come across and screen that area, to not allow any out balls for that fullback or centre half in the wider part of the pitch, to find that central pass in the middle of the park. It forces teams backwards a lot. They force teams backwards a lot, and they force teams to struggle to play out of the back. And that's where I think their key difference comes from. That high pressing, especially the wide areas of the park, and also their fluidity with that double pivot, allowing Leif Davis to push on from fullback to become basically a left winger. I know it's a little bit of football jargon there, but that's sort of how Ipswich have played this season. Hopefully you can try and see that next season in the Premier League. Key components, fluid, double pivot there that can shift and move and be mobile. They changed to a 3-4-2-1 without the ball, a 4-2-3-1 with it. Without the ball, and a 3-4-2-1 without it. So it's just sort of that mobile system there that is so common amongst the big teams in the world right now, and that's what he has implemented. And I guess the attacking style is epitomised with 19 different players this season for Ipswich scoring a goal, and only Connor Chaplin and Nathan Broadhead are in double figures for the season. So once again showing that this system is attacking top goal scorers in the championship, second highest scorers across the top 4 English tiers. It's all very exciting football, and it's football that hopefully will translate to the Premier League and take it to some of the big teams there. In terms of the standout players, I've touched on a lot already, but obviously the standout has been Leif Davis, left-footed fullback that basically becomes a wing-back or winger. He owns that left-hand side of the park. You can see by his heat maps, basically lives on that left-hand bar line there. And ridiculous attacking stats. The 2 goals, but the 18 assists across his 43 appearances and 43 starts this season. Averages a 7.42 on SOFA score as well. So goes to show he's one of the most consistent performers, the best player in this team for me. And he's in a very similar mould and realm like Alex Grimaldo from Leverkusen. They also have that sort of 3-back system when they have the ball, and they allow him to push on and create from the bar line, open up spaces. And that's exactly what Leif Davis has done. He would have gotten a lot of attention this season. I wouldn't be surprised if teams are bidding for him. I don't think Ipswich will sell him, but that sort of mid-table to lower half Premier League team, you'd be looking at Leif Davis and saying, this is a player that we can use. His delivery, his ability on the ball in the final third is very improved. I still think on the ball in possession, still got a lot to work on, but boy, has been so impressive. And you want to tell you, the player that's attacking progressive style of football, an attacking wing-back, full-back is pivotal to that. And as I said, in the same realm, mould as Alex Grimaldo, and to be in a sense that Alex Grimaldo says you're a very handy footballer, and the stats goes to show that he has been the standout player for me, closely followed by Connor Chaplin, the 13 goals, the 8 assists from that sort of central attacking midfield position. As I said previously, with their system, it can drift out wide and can help in wider areas as well, but has been pivotal to linking up in the final third there. Someone that can create dangerous runs into the box and score for himself, but also facilitate for others. Those 8 assists as well from that high attacking position. Basically playing in behind the striker has been fantastic. Such a dangerous player, such a dynamic player in the final third, and can really make the difference at Ipswich in changing the pace of a game and creating something basically out of nothing. He's got that sort of X factor about him, so another standout for me. And then a really important player, I think, is Sam Morsey, who plays that sort of box-to-box, energised in that double pivot alongside Massimo Luongo in the cog to their system. 3 goals, 6 assists. Probably the hardest working player and the most underrated player for me across the season. The work he does in that midfield there, facilitating how they can move into that 3-back system with the ball and allow Leif Davis to push on is because the likes of Sam Morsey can sit in there in the double pivot and shift across the park and fill in gaps. Such an important player, covers a lot of the park. The 32-year-old has been fantastic for them this season and will be pivotal to them next season. Just worried about, has he got the legs and the speed to keep up with the pace and power of the Premier League? But someone you have to trust. That's what Kieren McKenna has done. He's trusted his players, and I think someone you'll have to trust next season once again to be that important cog, that central figure, that midfield for Ipswich Town to bring them more glory next season. But he, for me, has been fantastic and such a key part of this such successful team this season. You've got to mention also Luf Wolford and also Harry Clark, the local fella at the back as well. Fantastic season for them. Solid defence considering how many numbers they throw forward and how progressive they can play. So really impressive for those two guys at the back as well, standing out alongside the superstar Leif Davis. In terms of looking forward now, next season in the Premier League, it will be tough. Not many teams go back-to-back promotions, let alone back-to-back promotions into the modern-day Premier League where there's so much money, so much power. But there's any sort of positive that they've done it this season against a lot of high spenders as well. Leicester City, Leeds have spent a lot, Southampton have spent a lot of money as well. And coming to the season, the expectation was nowhere near where they finished. So they can definitely supersede once again those expectations. But it's going to have to be a similar mould, I think, to Luton Town this season. I see a lot of similarities between Rob Edwards and Kieren McKenna. Obviously, Kieren McKenna's play style is much more progressive and modern, but the belief that that Rob Edwards and Kieren McKenna instills in their players is so important. And I think that's something that'll be quite similar. And I think in a similar Luton mould, you're going to keep that home ground a fortress, really defend it well, be a hard team to beat, but also back yourself in and play progressive when you need to. We see Luton at their best when they press hard the pitch and play with a lot of the ball in the central areas. I think Ipswich going to instill that same sort of belief and play style once again next season and utilise some smart spending. This season is loaning in the likes of Mari Hutchinson, Kiefer Moore, Jeremy Sarmiento have been pivotal figures in the back end of the season here. I think we need to see them, bring in a lot of more loanees and once again utilise what Luton did and bring in smart transfers like the Ross Barkleys of the world, the Andros Townsend, some experience to help this younger squad or this less experienced top tier squad in, just to let them hit the ground running a bit more and not be so worried and pressured from the start there. So very important they spend well once again coming to the Premier League. They'll get a bit more money to support them coming up, but nowhere near the budgets of some of the more established Premier League teams. So they will definitely be playing catch up. But if they continue to play the style of football they've got going at the moment, they'll absolutely give it a red hot crack. I look at some of the last previous teams to do it. Southampton, back-to-back promotions to the top flight in 2011, 2012, obviously with some of the best young stars we've seen in English history at that point in time. Also look at the season prior, Norwich in 2010 to 11 were impressive coming up. They also finished mid-table as well. So the last two teams who've gone back-to-back promotions into the Premier League have both finished around the mid-table area after some tough times throughout the season, but it's definitely possible. So the belief is there with Ipswich, and I think if Kieren McKenna keeps instilling that confidence, keeps playing this progressive style of football, which you've come accustomed to this season with Ipswich, and you keep some of these players on board, Leif Davis continues his performances, Amari Hutchinson comes back once again, Connor Chaplin's still pivotal to this team, and Sam Morsey, alongside another central midfielder, is important to that double pivot. I think they'll go well. I know it's very early to make this prediction, but I think I have faith in this squad. They can take it to the Premier League. Do they stay up? It's a long way away, so I can't really tell you that. But I have faith that they have the ability to compete at least in the Premier League next season. It's a big jump, 22 years away. That home crowd is going to be relentless and such a hard place to go play football. So I'm just excited to see them come up. And I just want to give props to the players and especially the manager, Kieren McKenna, a former assistant under my club there at Manchester United, but he's done a great job leaving the club and now leading Ipswich, and become a bit of a cult figure down there at Ipswich. So what a season for them. Absolutely deserve this rise into the Premier League, especially with the style of football they play. And very excited to see how they go next season. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. This video has been all about Ipswich. Let me know what you think of their season. If you've watched it closely, if you're a Championship fan, let me know your thoughts. Again, I don't watch it as closely as some of you guys at home, so let me know your thoughts on Ipswich and the Championship, and how you reckon they'll go next season, the big leagues and the Premier League. With that being said, ladies and gents, hope you enjoyed this video. There'll be more like this to come as we approach the off-season and the end of the season for a lot of the big leagues around the world. Make sure if you did enjoy the video, please smash a like on it, subscribe to the Players Zone channel as we're on the road to 500 subscribers, nearly 30 odd away now, so that'd be much appreciated. Press that post notification bell so you know we upload our podcast, reaction videos, analysis videos like these, and prediction videos. We've got a lot here sitting on the Players Zone channel. And also share the channel with mates who would enjoy this type of content as well. That would be much appreciated. With that all being said, ladies and gents, hope you enjoy the final few days here of the weekend's football action. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on a video very, very soon. Till next time, guys. See you later.